Sorry folks, the park is closed. Before you click onto that free pattern, you gotta hear a few of my words and then don't say that I didn't tell you. I'll be right back. Hi, I'm Mikey from the Crochet Crowd and thank you so much for joining our channel today. I'm here to inspire you and create magic with your crochet hook. Are you ready to play?
Oh yeah, that sounds good.
So it goes something like this. I started this pattern, I was filming it, happy. And I realized, I'm like, gee, this thing is massive. And so I went back to the pattern and realized it's supposed to be around 14 inches as the finished diameter. I was already at 17 and I was like, okay, I'm not even done growing this thing out. So I thought, okay, I looked at the gauge. The gauge actually makes no sense for this particular pattern. I think there's a typo. And I think that the hook size is also a typo in the pattern. So what I went and did is that I contacted the yarn ambassadors for Stitch, for Yarn Inspirations. And I asked, has anybody ran into this pattern at all? Marley Bird stepped forward, says, I haven't, but I'll help you. And what we realized is that the stitch count doesn't make sense for the type of hook that we're using. So we determined that we're going to try to continue to play. So what I did is that I took my Red Heart Super Saver and I kept crocheting swatches all the way down to 2 millimeters, which is really quite small, in order to figure out what the size is. And I settled at 2.5 millimeter size C crochet hook in order to get to the size that they're suggesting. So axe that 5.5 millimeter size I for this particular pattern if you want the 14-inch size. What this does tell me though, that the larger sizes that you can do is for a bigger size stool, but for the 14-inch that they wanted to, I had to reduce my hook. So don't say that I didn't warn you. So if you ever hear me say size I, 5.5 millimeter, just remember what I'm saying right now is that I think that there is a typo and I have figured out the correction. So there's one more thing I need to tell you. So it's taken me 3 hours to film all the way to round number 28. What I'm not going to do is that I'm not going to restart my filming. The pattern information is correct. What I'm going to do is through the miracle of magic on round number 29, you're going to see a different sample than what I was working with because I frogged it all completely out in order to do it. I literally did this project 5 times in order to figure out the sizing to get it to work. So if you think you're manic with crochet, you're looking at her. So, like myself. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get yourself started with this. If I say the size hook, I remember it's size C, as in 2.5 millimeters crochet hook. And we're going to begin, and I'll pick you up on number 29 as we start our journey, and you'll see a different sample at that particular point. What can I do? Do you want the pattern? In the description. Pattern in the description.
So let's begin here, and this is the Rainbow Burst stool cover, and I'm just going to be using one of the new yarns because this is a relatively new yarn. It's the Red Heart Super Saver OGO format. This is stripes, and this is the same size as the striping version of Super Saver, so it's just wrapped differently, as you know. So I'm just going to open this up and I'm just going to let the colors flow as they are, so I'm not going to change them strategically as it states in the pattern. So if you want that, just please follow the pattern. You use a 5.5 millimeter size I crochet hook today, and we're going to get started immediately. Once I get moving on this, I can tell you, just like if you have a different size stool, you can just kind of match it, and as soon as you get as big as you need to get, then you just switch to the instructions, then to improvise then the sides if you are customizing. So I'll leave that in your hands to figure that out. So I'm going to follow the pattern as written today. Okay, let's begin, and just leave a little bit of a longer tail here just in case you need to close in the center. Sometimes when we do it the startings this way, the center can stay open. So just begin with the slip knot, and I want you to chain 4. So 1, 2, 3, and 4, and I want you to slip stitch to this the beginning chain right over here, and yarn over, pull through and through. And so if you don't like how much this is open, then what you can do is use the tail and a tapestry needle to kind of force it to close if that's a problem for you. Let's begin round number 1. Let's begin round number 1 by chaining 1, and you're going to do 6 single crochet into the center of this ring. So let's count those out together. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6, and I need you to slip stitch to the beginning one. If you're not sure which one it is, just count it back. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and so then you'll slip stitch to the 6th one back or the beginning single crochet. And we're going to continue. I'm going to leave that little hole in the center here, so I'm going to get rid of this, so make sure that you do secure that before moving on. As we move along today, I'm going to give you a set of instructions and then I'm going to tell you to finish it to the end of the round. So I'm going to take you long enough that you can understand the repeat, and then you'll do that rest on your own and you'll put me on pause. We do have video chapters in this video just in case that helps you to know that. So let's start off, and you're going to chain 1, and in each of the 6 single crochets that you have, I need you to place in 2 single crochets in each. So place 2 in each and meet me back here in just a moment. When you get all the way back around, see this here, this looks like a stitch, and a lot of new crocheters make that mistake, even existing ones as old as me. So what happens is that this is part of this. So if you look back and you see that there was 6 sets of 2, that's not a stitch. So make sure that you don't include that, and you'll be adding stitches by accident if you include it. So you're just going to slip stitch to the beginning single crochet and see, it'll pull that shut. Let's begin round number 3. In round number 3, here we go. It's a repeat of certain steps, and we'll be doing this all the way. So just chain up 1. The first stitch will have 2 single crochets in it, 1 and 2. I'm just letting the color change on its own, and then the next one is 1 by itself, and that's gonna be your repeat taking you around. So there's gonna be 2 single crochets in the next, and then 1 into the one after that. So 2 and 1, 2 and 1. Please do that all the way around for round number 3. So coming all the way around, if your stitch count is right, there should just be 1 into the last one, keeping that, and then you're just going to join to the beginning single crochet. Okay, so let's begin round number 4. So the spike stitches that you see in the pattern is that offset that happens. Let me just show you that there. So it's what you're seeing right here. You see those lines? And this is using this to be able to sometimes change the stitch counts, and so you'll be noticing that then as we move to round number 4. So let's begin. Let's begin number 4. We're gonna start the spike stitch now. Now when we do spikes, the stitch that is behind the spike, we're going to ignore that and just pretend it doesn't exist and move along. So let me just show you. You're gonna start off by just chaining 1, and you'll put 2 single crochets in the same stitch. Now you're going to do a spike stitch in the next single crochet. So this one here, just follow it right down to the row below and just single crochet through there, pulling it a little bit of slack, and then finish it. And that counts as the stitch that it's sitting in front of. And then you're gonna single crochet the next one on its own. Okay, so here's your repeat. The next one is gonna have 2 single crochets in it. The next one is a spike. Follow it down, and that counts as the stitch that you're just covering there, and then you'll single crochet in the next. And I need you to do this all the way around, and this is going to get ourselves started with establishing where the spikes are in this particular round. So I'm coming all the way around. So I just did my last set of 2 into the same, spike down, and then 1 single into the other, and now I'm going to join to the beginning single crochet. At this point you should be able to see 6 spikes. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. And so I know in this color it's harder to tell, but that's what we want. So let's move on to round number 5. So you're going to notice in the pattern that the spike is not done every round, it's every other round, and you'll see that happening. So number 5, we're going to start with our repeating. Chain 1 to start, and you're going to apply 2 single crochets into the same one as the join. And now you're gonna single crochet the next 3 by themselves. So we have 1, 2, 3. So let's do your repeat pattern then. So the next one has 2 single crochets into it, and then the next 3 are by themselves. So please do that all the way around, and I'll see you at the end of round number 5. So I'm coming up all the way to the end, so the last 3 are single crochets by themselves, and that's just a matter of keeping the stitch count of the pattern. And you're going to join it to the first single crochet and end round number 5. So you can see that it looks more hexagonal at this point, and this is what I was talking about in the introduction, is that this is when we're gonna start changing the game so it doesn't look so hexagonal and it looks more circle. Let's begin round number 6. Let's begin number 6. So we're going to be changing the location of the increase so that it becomes more circled off, and you're going to be noticing that going forward. And we're introducing the spike stitch back into this equation, and the spike stitch should be pretty close to where the other spike stitch is, so just keep it in line with each other. So to start this, you're going to chain up 1 and apply 1 single crochet into the first 3 stitches. So we have 1, 2 and 3, just like that. And so once those 3 are in, I need you to spike stitch over top of this one, going right here. See where this other spike is? So just going into the same spot and pulling it up and finishing it, and that counts as the stitch that it's sitting in front of. And the other stitch right after the spike then in this particular case is going to be 2 single crochets. Okay, so let's do the repeat pattern and show you again. So we have the first 3 in a row are by themselves. So 1, 2 and 3, and spike down. See where this other one is? It's kind of in line. Just come down to where that other one is spiking, just right up. Finish it. That counts as the stitch it's sitting in front of, and then the next one has 2 single crochets in it. Please do that for idea going all the way around for round number 6. So I'm just going to be finishing up round number 6 in just a moment, just doing my last repeat coming through, and the last stitch before the ending is 2 single crochets into the same one if you're keeping the stitch counts, and you'll see that it rounded off differently in this one. So just join it to the beginning single crochet, and that concludes number 6. Let's move on to number 7. Let's begin number 7, and I'm going to show you a cheating technique in just a few seconds. And what we have here is that we're going to be starting off, and the increase is changing locations again to make it more round. So let's begin by just chaining 1, and we're going to single crochet into the same one as the join. And we just need to get you to do the first section here before I can tell you the cheating technique. And we're going to single crochet into the next stitch as well. Okay, so the first 2 are by themselves. The next one here is 2 single crochets into the same one. And what I'm going to tell you at this point is not in the pattern written. It's written, but it's not easily written. Is that the next 5 stitches in a row are each 1 single crochet. So just count 5. So 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5, and then 2 into the next. And then you'll do the next 5 and then 2 into the next. And what this is going to do is that when you get back to the beginning here, you're going to notice that there's just going to be a few odd single crochets left over because we only had 2 to begin. So there should be 3 single crochets left over if you're following it the way that I'm showing you right now. So 2 and 5, and I'll be right back in a moment. So in following that sequence, then you'll have just 2 stitches left over, and you should be able to verify, and I have verified that there's only 42 stitches single crochets in the round, just like that. And that will conclude that round, number 7. Let's move on to number 8. Let's begin number 8. So you're going to start off and chain 1 and single crochet in the same stitch as the join, and then you're going to single crochet into the next stitch, and then it says 2 single crochets into the next stitch. So 1 and 2, and then it states to do 1 single crochet into the next stitch and then a spike. You see that the spikes are following each other, so just come on down and go right into that same spot and pull up, just like that. So you got your spike in. So now you're going to single crochet then into the next 2 stitches. So remember that spike counts as the one it's sitting in front of. So we have 1 and 2. So let's do your repeat then going all the way around. So you're going to single crochet into the next 2 stitches. So 1 and 2, 2 single crochets into the next one. So 1 and 2, 1 single crochet in the next, and then you're going to spike on down. Okay, so just go right in, spike it, then you're going to single crochet then the next 2 in a row and begin your repeat all over again. Okay, so let's just do one more repeat because I'm kind of confused myself. So we're going to single crochet into the next 2. So 1 and 2, 2 single crochets into the next, 1 and 2, 1 single crochet into the next, and then spike on down. And then after the spike is done, then you are going to then place in a single crochet into the next 2, and that will be your repeat. So please do that all the way around. Hopefully that makes sense. You can always obviously follow it on the pattern too. So after the last spike is in, the remaining of the round, just place in 2 single crochets because you're just keeping in the sequence of the order, and then just slip stitch to the beginning, single crochet, and that was round number 8. Let's begin round number 9. It gets more simpler for the repeating at this one. So I want you to chain up 1, and you're going to single crochet then into the first 7 stitches in a row. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7, and then 2 into the next one. So 1 and 2. Okay, so the repeating in a row is 7. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7, and then 2 into the next. Please do that all the way around for round number 9. When you come around, the last stitch in is 2 single crochets into the same, and that's just keeping in the sequence, and then you'll just join it and finish round number 9. Let's begin round number 10 next. Let's begin number 10. You're gonna chain up 1, and you'll apply 1 single crochet in the same stitch as the join, and then a single crochet into the next 2 in a row. So we have 1 and 2. Now we're going to put 2 single crochets into the next stitch, and then 1 single crochet in the next, and that takes you to the spike. So come on down and do your spike. So once the spike's in, we're gonna single crochet into the next 3 stitches. So we have 1, 2, and 3, and now we're going to start our repeating. So we're gonna start again and single crochet the next 3. So we have 1, 2, and 3. There's gonna be 2 into the next one after that. So we have 1 and 2, and then we have a single crochet then on its own after that one, and then we spike on down. And then after the spike we do 3 single crochets. So 1, 2, 3, and then start our repeat over again. So please do this all the way around. This is round number 10. When you get all the way around to number 10, there will be 3 single crochets after the last spike because that's the end of the repeat, and then you're just going to join it to the beginning one and conclude that. So let's go on to number 11 next. Let's try number 11. I'm going to state it in a way that is different from the way that it's stating in the pattern, but it's still the same instruction. So we're going to begin, and you're going to chain up 1 and apply 1 single crochet into the same one. Here's my tip for you. Here's the repeat. You were going to apply 2 single crochets into the next one, and then you have to then go and do the next 9 in a row. It says 8, but you have to trust me. So we have to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. So the reason why I did that is that if you look carefully at the instructions, it says single crochet in the next 8 stitches, and then in the repeat pattern it says single crochet in the next stitch, 2 single in the next, and then single crochet in the next 8. So if you just go and just say it's 9 from this point, it's just easier to keep count. So to start again, you're going to put in 2 single crochets into the next, and then do the next 9. So what I want you to do is that I want you to go all the way around, and when I will meet you back here, because you're going to be slightly at a different spot because it doesn't equal the full repeat when you get all the way back around. So I'll see you there in a moment. So I'm coming all the way back around, and you will notice that there's only 8 stitches left after you do the 2 into the same one. That's because the 9th stitch is the first one here, and then it goes to 2 again. So make sure that you understand that. Okay, so let's join it. This color totally reminds me of cheesies. Okay, that's all I can think of now. I'm getting a craving. Let's begin number 12. Let's begin number 12 by chaining 1 and single crochet in the same stitch as the join, and we're gonna single crochet then in the next 4. So we have 1, 2, 3, and 4, and it says single crochet in the next 2 single crochets in the next 2. Sorry, 2 single crochets in the next stitch. Sorry about that. 1 single crochet into the next stitch after that. So I'm starting to understand the pattern of the repeating of how these spikes are working too. So maybe you're cluing on that too. So we're going to spike down and then start another repeating section. So once we get the spike in there, we're going to single crochet into the next 3, it states. So we're going to do the 3. So 1, 2, and 3. And then the repeat pattern then begins. So to do the repeat, you're gonna single crochet in the next 5. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 2 single crochets in the next. 1 single crochet in the next, and then spike on down. Just like that. Okay, so do you remember? So it's 3 after the spike. So we have 1, 2, 3, and then the repeat starts all over again. So it's the next 5. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. 2 into the next, 1 into the next, and then spike on down. So please do this all the way around for round number 12. So I'm coming around and the last 3 are single crochets by themselves because that's the end of the repeating if you see the spike there. Let's just join it to the beginning and move on to round number 13 next. Let's begin round number 13. You're going to chain up 1 and you are going to apply 1 single crochet in the same stitch as the join and 1 single crochet in the next 2 stitches. Okay, and now we're going to begin 2 single crochets in the next stitch, and this is where I'm gonna just improvise from the instructions. Still the same counts. So from this point I need you to place in 11 single crochets in a row. And it's the same count as what you see in the pattern. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and 11, and then you'll apply 2 single crochets in the next one. Okay, so it's 11 and then 2 and 11 and 2, and then you're just gonna have a few left over here when we get there in just a moment. So please do this all the way around. This is round number 13. When you come around to number 13, after the 2 single crochets are into the same one, there's only 8 stitches left, and if you look back at the pattern you would have saw that as well. There's only 8, and you're just going to slip stitch to the beginning single crochet, and we're gonna flip the page to number 2, and so far so good. Let's begin then the next portion here on page number 2 on round number 14. So let's begin number 14. Chain up 1 and apply 1 single crochet into the same stitch as the join. And now you're going to single crochet the next 8. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. And then once you have your 8th in, you are going to spike stitch, and you can see that it's already ready for you down there. So that helps you to kind of give you an indication if you're doing it right. So spike stitch down, and then we're not quite done with the repeat yet. We're going to, once we have the spike in, we're going to single crochet in the next, and then 2 single crochets into the next stitch, and then single crochet in the next. So that's your full there. So let's begin a full repeat from this point. So here we go. We're gonna single crochet in the next 9. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. See, the spike is next, so you're gonna spike on down, and then you're gonna single crochet the next one after the spike, 2 single crochets into the next one, and then 1 single crochet after that, and then that's the end of the repeat. So please do the repeat all the way around. This is number 14. So I'm coming after the end of round number 14 and just following the sequence. So after the spike it was 1 by itself, 2, and then 1, and then you're just going to join it. Okay, so let's begin number 15 next, and I'm ready for a color change too. Fun. Let's begin 15. Round number 15. So I'll try to simplify it like I can. These ones that don't have the spike are a lot easier to simplify in instructions and in verbal format, at least I think so. So you're gonna chain up 1 and you'll single crochet into the first one as the join, and then you're gonna single crochet into the next 2 stitches, and then 2 single crochets into the next stitch, 1 and 2. So the way that I would simplify this for you is the next 13 in a row are a single crochet and then 2 into the next, and then 13 and then 2 into the next, and you'll repeat that all the way around, and then you'll just be left with a few left over that we'll talk about when we get there. So just make sure it's 13. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, and 13, and then place 2 into the next. Please do this all the way around. This is round number 15. When you come back around, it's only the last 10 that are being done after the 2 are into the same one. That's because the other 3 are on the other side of the join. So just join it to the beginning, and that will be the end of number 15. Let's do number 16 next. So you'll notice that the circle is actually really good, and that's because we keep changing the locations of the increasing, but it's making the it's more complicated to do a pattern like this, so that's probably why you may be struggling, just in case it's not yours truly, aka me screwing you up. So hopefully you're doing okay. So let's begin number 16. You're gonna chain up 1 and single crochet in the same stitch. Now you're going to single crochet into the next 6. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6, and we're going to do 2 single crochets into the next stitch. So 1 and 2, and we're going to single crochet in the next 2 stitches. So 1 and 2, and that takes you to the spike as being next. So come on down for the spike. Okay, so after the spike is in, you're going to single crochet into the next 4. So we have 1, 2, 3, and 4. And now let's do the repeat as it's written. So single crochet into the next 7. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7, and then after the 7 are in, single crochet, 2 single crochets in the next one, and then you're going to single crochet in the next 2, and then spike on down. And after that spike is in, single crochet the next 4, and that'll end the repeat section, and you'll just repeat that around. So please do that around for number 16. So as you come around to number 16, the last 4 after the spike, and that's as per the pattern, is then a single crochet, and you'll just join it. So okay, so let's begin then round number 17. So let's begin round number 17, and you're going to chain up 1 and you will apply 1 single crochet in the first 13. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, and 13, and then in the next one there's going to be 2 single crochets into the same one. So I'm gonna show you cheating technique from this point. So it's gonna be now the repeating around will be a total of 15 stitches in a row. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, and 15. And once the 15th is in, you'll put 2 single crochets in the next. And I need you to do that all the way around. And what's gonna happen is when you get close to the other side, you will notice that there'll just be a few stitches left over when we get there. So I'll see you back here in a moment. So I'm just continuing to repeat the pattern and just filling in the remaining stitches. So after the 15 was in, I put 2 into the same one, and then you're just gonna do the remaining just to get yourself back around. So there's just 3 left, and then just join to the beginning, and that will conclude number 17. Let's begin number 18 next. Okay, let's begin number 18. Chain up 1 and you'll single crochet in the same stitch as the join. You're then going to, in the next 2 stitches, do 1 single crochet. And now the next one is 2 single crochets into the same stitch, and you're gonna single crochet in the next 7. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7, and that will take you to the spike that's right here. So do your spike, and then after the spike is done, then you'll do the next 5. Okay, so let's start with that one. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Let's go through a complete repeat now. So you're just gonna do the next 3 in a row. So 1, 2, and 3. 2 into the next one. And then you have 7 in a row. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7, and then spike on down. And then after the spike, it's 5 in a row. So after it, so 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, and that's a complete repeat there. So please do that all the way around for round number 18. So coming around on number 18 is that I have the last 5. I kind of struggled with 18, to be honest with you. I kept having miscounts. I don't know why. So maybe I've done something wrong in my own specific pattern, but I did follow the pattern. But I just improvised, and you know what? Sometimes you just gotta fake it or make it. You can't really even tell anyway. So let's move on to number 19. So number 19, let's get ourselves started. We'll chain up 1 and we're gonna single crochet into the first 9. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. Once you have your 9 done, we're gonna put 2 single crochets into the same one. And then it doesn't state this, it does state this in the pattern, but in a roundabout way. The easiest way to remember is that there's gonna be now 17 stitches in a row, and then 2, and 17 stitches, and then 2, and you'll be left with a few left over by the time you get around. So please do that and put 17 and then 2. I'll see you at the end of number 19. So I'm coming around on number 19, so the last 8 in a row were single crochets, and that was just keeping in the count of the pattern. Let's move along to number 20 next. Let's begin number 20. Let's chain up 1 and put 1 single crochet in the same stitch as the join, and do the next 12 as well. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12, and that should take us to the front door of the spike, which it does. So spike on down. After the spike is applied, then you're going to single crochet in the next 2, and then the next one will have 2 single crochets into the same one, and then single crochet in the next 2. Okay, so let's go through the repeat pattern as it's written. So you'll do the remaining for the round. So you're gonna single crochet in the next 13. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, and 13, and that will take you to the spike. So spike on down. Once the spike is in, then you are just going to apply 1 single crochet in the next 2. So 1 and 2, 2 into the next one, and then 2 single crochets on their own, and then that's the repeat finished. So please continue that repeat all the way around. This is number 20. So I'm coming around to number 20 here, and I'm just following the sequence. So I did the 2 after the spike, the 2 into the same one, and then the 2 remaining. Okay, so let's move on to number 21 next. Let's continue. Colors are actually turning out pretty good. I was kind of concerned for a bit. So let's begin number 21. So let's do number 21. Let's get ourselves started and chain up 1 and apply 1 single crochet in the same one as the join, and 1 single crochet in the next 6. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. So the next one is gonna have 2 into the same one, and then I'm going to improvise here. It's the same counts as what you have in the pattern. So I want you to do the next 19 in a row, and then 2, and then 19 and 2, and do that around, and we'll be left with a few left over at the end. So let's do that, and 19 and 2. I'll be right back. So after you get around, you'll have your 2 into the same one, and then you'll just finish the remaining with single crochets. So let's move on to round number 22 next. Let's begin number 22. Your chain up 1 and apply 1 single crochet as the same stitch as the join. And now let's do the next 11 in a row. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and 11. So the next one is gonna have 2 into the same one. So 1 and 2, and then single crochet into the next one, and then the spike is down. Okay, so we're gonna do that one. Once the spike is in, then you're going to single crochet into the next 6. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. And so now let's do a full repeat. Starting right where we are, the next 12 in a row are single crochet. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. 2 single crochets into the next, 1 single crochet into the next, and then down for a spike. And after that spike is in, do you remember what it was? I'm looking back in the instructions now. The spike back down now is the next 6 in a row. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. So please do that all the way around. This color totally reminds me of cheesies. I can't get that out of my head. So please do this repeat all the way around. This is number 22. When you get all the way around, then after the last spike, then it's just the next 6 in a row that will be single crochet. So let's continue then into number 23 next, and we'll be right back in a second. Number 23, chain up 1 and 1 single crochet in the same stitch as the join, and single crochet in the next stitch. So here's going to be the repeat pattern for, and I'm improvising, but it's still the same count. So you're going to place in 2 single crochets into the same stitch, which is next, You now need to do 21 stitches in a row of single crochet. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, and 21. After the 21st, then just put in 2 single crochets, and that'll be 21 again, and then 2 single crochet. You'll do that all the way around, and when you get back around, there'll just be a few left over. Please do this all the way around. Number 23. So coming around on number 23, and once I had my 2 into the same one, it was just single crochet all the way back around and just join. And let's move on to number 24. As these colors are moving out from the ogo here, you're noticing that it's changing more frequently in the way that it's striping. So you'll see it starting to probably changing per side, I guess. So we'll see something happening with this as we continue along. So hopefully that makes sense. Let's do number 24. Let's do number 24. You're going to chain up 1 and do a single crochet in the same stitch as the join, and then you're going to single crochet the next 5. So let's count those out together. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And now the next one is 2 into the same one, and then you're going to single crochet the next 9. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9, and that will take us to the spike. So come on down and do the spike. And then after the spike is in, I'm just reading on the instructions, after the spike is in, single crochet the next 6 in a row. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Now let's do a full repeat together. So starting right now, let's do another repeat. So we're going to start off with 6 in a row. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Then put 2 into the same one. And now we'll do the next 9. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9, and that should take me to the spike as next, which it does. So spike your spike, and then do the next 6 in a row. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Okay, so please do that all the way around in that sequence, and I'll see you at the end of number 24 in a moment. Okay, number 24 is now complete, and now we're moving on to number 25. So let's begin. Let's begin number 25. So just chain up 1 and single crochet that one, the same as the join, and then the next 11. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and 11. So now the 2 is going to go into the next one, two single crochets. So the easiest way to do this is do the next 23 and then 2, and 23 and 2. You'll be left with a few left over on this side when you get there, and please do this all the way around for number 25. So I'm coming around on number 25, and I just filled in the last stitches from the 2 in the same, and it was 11 stitches in a row, and then you're just going to join it. And let's begin number 26 in just a moment. Let's begin number 26. Chain up 1 and apply 1 single crochet in the same stitch as the join, and let's do the next 17 in a row. So we'll count those out together. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, and 17. Once you have the 17 in, you see that you're in line with the spike, so then you're going to spike. And then after the spike, what do we have here? I'm reading as I go. So single crochet in the next 2, and then 2 single crochets into the next, so there's the growth, and then a single crochet in the next 3. So 1, 2, and 3. Okay, so let's do a complete pattern. The project's hitting my microphone cord. Okay, so let's do a full repeat. Single crochet in the next 9, or sorry, single crochet in the next 18. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, and 18, and the spike is next. So spike it down, 2 single crochets in a row, so 1 by itself and 2, 2 into the next, and then the last 3 are 1 single crochet each. So please do that sequence all the way around. This is number 26, and I'll be right back in a moment. So after the last spike, I did my 2 in a row, the 2 into the same, and then the last 3, and then I'm going to join to conclude number 26. Let's move along to number 27 next. Let's begin number 27. So chain up 1 and 1 single crochet into the first one, and single crochet into the next 3 as well. So we have 1, 2, and 3. So here's my simplification to make it easier for you. The next one is going to be 2 into the same one, and then what I need you to do is then count out 25 single crochets, and then 2, 25, and then 2, and then you'll be left with a few left over when you get over to the other side. So just do that and I'll be back in a moment. So it's 25 and 2. So 27 is now complete. After the 2 were into the same one, there was only 21 stitches left. Let's begin number 28. Let's begin number 28. Let's start by chaining 1 and apply 1 into the same one as the join. Single crochet into the next 15 it says, so we'll do that. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, and 15, and it says 2 single crochets into the next stitch, and then it says to do single crochet in the next 2 stitches. So 1 and 2, and then the spike is next. So spike it on down, and then what does it say after the spike? The spike says 1 single crochet in the next 7. So we'll do 7. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. So let's do a full repeat that will take you all the way around to the end. And let's start again. So single crochet in the next 16. So let's do 16 in a row. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, and 16. Once the 16 are in, 2 single crochets into the next, and a single crochet in the next 2, and then it says to spike. So we'll do a spike, And then after the spike it says to single crochet in the next 7. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. So there is your full repeat, and so please do that all the way around, and I'll see you at the end of number 28 in a moment. So 28 is now complete. Gonna check that off on my list, and in real time here I'm gonna take a lunch break, and I'll be back after lunch, and I'll see you just in a couple seconds from now. You honestly didn't need to know that, but that's what I'm up to, and I'll be back in a moment. So as I promised, in round number 29 that we're about to start, I have my sample that I showed you right at the start of the tutorial using my 2.5mm size C-hook. You notice that it does look different. It's a lot more tighter in stitch work. Let's begin number 29, and we'll go with our cheating technique. So let's just chain up 1. You'll notice that this size hook is much tighter as well, just generally speaking. So we're going to single crochet in the same stitch as the join. We're then going to place in 1 single crochet in the next 9. So let's count those out together. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. And now in the next one we're gonna put 2 single crochets into the same one, and then I'll show you my cheating technique that I have. It's the same information on the pattern, it's just said differently. From here what I want you to do is 27 single crochets and then 2 into the next, 27 single crochets and then 2 in the next, and I want you to repeat that all the way around, and when you come all the way around you're just gonna fill in what's left here just with single crochets. So please do this for round number 29. When you come all the way around on the end of number 29, it's the 17 stitches that are left over at the end, and then you're just going to slip stitch then to the beginning. So let's now move on to round number 30. So let's begin the 30th round. We're no longer growing this out, and this is it. So what we want to do for the last time is that we want to maintain the spike stitch before moving down the sides. So let's start. We're going to start by chaining 1, and we'll apply 1 single crochet in the same stitch as the join. Can I offer a piece of advice? If you can identify the stitch before the spike right there, do you see it? Then you won't need to count. You're not adding any stitches to this particular round. Isn't that neat? So you can count it out all you want, or you can just single crochet, and when you see that and you're ready for the spike stitch you can go down. If you do want to count, it is the total of the first one and then just do the 3. So I've been consistent, so I have 3 done so far. So the first one's in 3, and then 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. 19 is going in next. 19 and 20. So there is your 20, and once you're ready then see the next one is the spike stitch. So you're just gonna go in. Now the pattern states when you're doing this is that you're going to single crochet then into the next 7 after the spike stitch. So when you do that, and then you start again from 1 to 20. But again, if you can recognize where that is, then you won't need to count and just put the spike stitch in where you think it should go, and then that's it. So you're not doing any growth by putting 2 single crochets in the same stitch. So you decide how you're gonna do it, and I'll be right back at the end of number 30. I've now finished off round number 30. So everything is done. The spikes are done. You'll no longer see those. Now round number, we're gonna start shaping sides. So rounds number 31 and 32, all I need you to do is place 1 single crochet in each of the stitches going around. So chain up 1, 1 single in each, and then slip stitch to the beginning. So please do rounds number 31 and 32, 1 single crochet in each. I'll be right back. We're now ready for round number 33. I'm going to show you a technique that you may not know of doing single crochet 2 together, and this will reduce, you know how we have the increasing lines when it's all in the same position? Well, when you do the decrease all in the same position, you can end up with the same kind of lines. Here, because we've been changing where the increase is, you don't see that. And so let's maintain that so you only see the slip stitch here. So what I'm going to do is that I'm gonna start you off, and I'm not gonna make you count with me a certain amount of stitches, so watch. So I want you to chain up 1 and single crochet the same one as the join. Now I want you now to crochet the next 26 in a row and then pick me up there. So just put me on pause, do 26, so 1, 2 and 3, and do 26, and I'll be right back in a moment. So I now have 26 done. Normally when you do single crochet together, I'll show you the way that's normally done. So you'll go into the next stitch, pull through, then you'll go into the next stitch, pull through, and then it's gonna pull these two together. And you always end up with a line that looks out of place when you do that. So you can decide to do it that way if you wish, or do it the way I'm about to show you. So I want you just to use the front loops only and scoop up the front loop only, and then just rotate the hook and capture the next front loop only. So both of the front loops of the next 2 stitches are on the hook. You're gonna yarn over, pull through, and then yarn over, pull through 2. And what this is doing is that it's putting 2 together but not making a line. So what I want you to do is do the next 27, 2 together, 27, 2 together, and you'll do that all the way for the remaining of this round. This is number 33. At the end of number 33, if you're keeping in count, the last 2 are together. Okay, and that will conclude then round number 33. So I'll give you instructions for number 34 in just a second. So as I mentioned before, the reducing is actually really quite easy to do. I'm gonna give you verbal instructions then for 34. I want you to chain up 1 and place 1 single crochet into the same one as the join, and then I want you then to single crochet the next 25 in a row. The next 2 are together, so single crochet 2 together. The repeat for the remaining of this round then after that is single crochet in the next 26 and then 2 together, and then 26 and 2 together, and you'll do that all the way back to the very beginning. So please do number 34 now. Now time for number 35. I'll explain it to you and then you can do it. You're gonna chain 1 and put 1 single crochet into the very first one. You're then going to place 1 single crochet into the next 24 stitches. The next 2 are together, so single crochet 2 together. From that point you're gonna single crochet the next 25 and then 2 together, 25 and 2 together, and you'll do that all the way around for round number 35. Please do that and I'll be right back. Okay, so let's move on to number 36 and 37. They're both the same as number 31, which is essentially 1 single crochet in each of the stitches. So please do number 36, 37, 1 single in each, and just make sure you remember to chain 1 and then 1 single and join, and etc. So please do 2 rounds of single crochet. I'll be right back. So let's move on to round number 38. 38, 39 are the final. So 38, what we're going to do is put an eyelet round in. So what's gonna happen is that when you place this on your stool, this is gonna go over the side, and then the eyelets are going to hold like almost like a drawstring, so that you can tie the drawstring into position underneath the stool so it can grab, or if you're putting it on a log like me, you can tie that drawstring so it will secure more down instead of just resting. So what we want to do to start is that you're just gonna chain up 1 and you'll apply 1 single crochet in the first one, and then 1 single crochet in the next. You're going to chain 1, okay, and then you're going to skip just 1 stitch. Okay, so skip the next stitch, and then you're gonna go to the next one and just do the next 2, chain 1, skip 1, and then the next 2, and you're gonna do that all the way around. Nice and easy round, and you'll find it's much faster because you got your chain 1 going on. So you're leaving these little holes that the drawstring will go through in the future. This is the eyelet round number 38. So I'm coming all the way around and I'm just following the pattern. So I got a chain 1, jump over the last one and join it to the top. Let's do the very final round together. I'm just letting the colors just run itself out. I'm actually on a second ogo that I had a spare piece of ogo left over, so that's why you don't see the yellow in between here, because I'm using a different one. Not that it matters. So you're going to chain up 1 on the final, and you're going to apply 1 single crochet in each single crochet that you run into, and when there's a chain 1 space, just go right into the space, and that will help hold open that little hole for you so that you can see it. So just 1 single crochet in each stitch and each chain 1 space all the way around, to do the final round, and I'll be right back in a moment. So I'm now at the end. So what I want to do is just fasten off, and I'll just quickly show you that too while I'm here. We just have the drawstring to make as the final, and just pull that through. Grab your tapestry needle, any loose ends that you may have, this is the best way to get rid of them as well, and then just go in behind and then just drag it through. So don't go through the front side of the work so you see this, just stay on the back. So if you flip it over, you should not see the needle going through. This item will be relatively stationary unless you are taking it on and off stuff. Then just take your time weaving in your ends. Go back and forth a total of 3 times. You see me do this all the time if you're a regular follower. Okay, once you have that done, then what you can do is start making the drawstring. So I'm just gonna change the color so the drawstring is a different color, and I'll be right back in a moment. Using whatever color, I'm still using the part of the yogo. I have just a little piece left over, and I want to now chain a total of 50 inches. So just start chaining and lay it down without being stretched to a 50-inch tape measure. And what we want to do is go all the way basically around your item, and then we're gonna weave this in like a shoestring, I suppose. So do a 50-inch chain now. Okay, once you have your 50 inches, I did measure. I'm just going to trim. I'm not gonna worry about these tail ends yet. I'm just pull tight on them though. And then what I wanna do is change my hook from the big hook that, or the small hook that it is. I wanna just use a thicker hook in order to go through. And what that will do is help prevent just grabbing any of the individual strands, and we can just grab the whole piece a lot easier. So you have to decide where you want the strand to hang down. So I want the strand, let me just zoom you out here. I want the strand to hang down in a position where, see this coloring here? You can have it do that if you want to, so it can just change. So we can do that. And we just need to go in and out of the eye loops itself. Okay, so just pull through. Like that. Okay, and then what you just need to do is just continually just weave these through. Okay, so you'll find the next eye. Seeing the thicker hook will be a lot easier to deal with, like that. Okay, so just go all the way around, linking in your item or your strand, and I'll see you back here in just a moment. So once I've come all the way back around, you'll see that the loops work out. So then when you're ready, you'll put it on an item, and then you'll just tie this into a bow tie. Now those pieces that I left on extra, you can just cut them down shorter. Okay, just leave a little bit. And this thing is good to go. And now you just grab a stool. So you'll slap it over top of the stool, and then once it's over top, then you'll tighten down the strap here, and that will pull it underneath the stool and pull it as a nice surface, or you can do a log in my case. So you can decide what's right for you, and this here is a great little stool cover to have. We'll see you again next time. I'm Mikey on behalf of the Crochet Crowd. So it's my friends at yarnspirations.com.